What's up, you guys? It's JCARDENASART, and in this video I'm going to be painting a wolf. I'm going to be doing it in acrylic paint on a canvas panel. I did order some new brushes that I've been really wanting to try out. I went online and I ordered the Utrecht synthetic brush set. I've heard great things about these guys and I couldn't think of a better time to try them out than now. So I'll let you guys know what I think. I will also have them in the description below if you want to check those out for yourself. It is an affiliate link, so if you do purchase anything through those links, I do get a small commission and it will really help my channel out. And yeah, let's get started.
Alrighty then, so the first thing I'm doing is sketching. I'm going to do it straight onto the canvas panel with one of the brushes. And the brush that I'll be using is a number 12 filbert. The brush set comes with 4 brushes. It comes with a number 4 round, a number 8 bright, a 12 filbert, and an 18 filbert. The very first thing that I noticed taking these brushes out of the package is that the hair is very soft. Much softer than I expected them to be. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's good. A lot of people love painting with really soft brushes. I was just concerned because I'm an aggressive painter. I'm not afraid to get rough with the brushes, which is why I tend to go through a lot of brushes. So I automatically felt like I had to be much more delicate with these brushes as soon as I started using them. Luckily, the canvas that I chose for this project wasn't too big, so there wasn't a lot of ground to cover, so there was not really a need to be too aggressive with laying down paint. I was able to take my time. So yeah, I decided to continue blocking in with the same size 12 filbert because I felt like this was a decent size brush. It was pretty good. It was doing a lot of coverage. I didn't feel the need to use the size 18 filbert that the brush set came with. Now, there was one thing that I wasn't too crazy about at first, and that was that these brushes didn't work well with heavy body acrylics. I'll explain. The heavy body acrylics that I use are very thick. Because these brushes are very soft, half of the paint would just sit on the brush. I couldn't get the brush strokes that I was going for because the paint was too thick. So I had to go to the store and get myself some matte medium to help thin out the paint. Once I did that, the brushes were incredible. Now, just in case you thought about it, no, I couldn't just use more water. Why? Because when you add water to the paint, yes, it thins it out, but not in a good way. What it does is that it dilutes it. It breaks down and weakens the components in the colors, and it gives you like this watercolor wash. Now, if that's the effect you're going for, go for it. But if that's not what you're trying to do and you just want the same consistent paint, you just want it to flow nicer, then I recommend mediums. The medium will keep the components intact and it'll just stretch out your paint. It'll make it smoother. Almost kind of like if you're using fluid acrylics or a soft body. I only recommend using water to wash your brushes or to drop a little bit in your acrylics so that it doesn't dry. But just so you know, there are mediums to slow down drying time. There are also mediums to speed up drying time. There's all kinds of mediums. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in the description to a page that has a bunch of different mediums so that you can go through them yourself and see if you find something that you like. So make sure you check that out. My technique for capturing hair is to work in layers. What I'll do is I'll start with a base color and then I'll work my way into the lighter colors. But I will jump back and forth between the lights and the darks to give it that feel of depth, to give it that feeling of there being so many strands of hair with the contrast in paint colors. And towards the end, I'll use a really thin brush. In this case, I'll use the number 4 round that comes in this pack. And I'll add in those final touches to really make it look like hair. You'll see me switch around on the brushes. For example, here I'm using a number 8 bright, just so I can get tighter shapes, get a little bit more detailed. And then I'll jump over to, like, for example, the round or back to the filbert. Something I found really cool about these brushes, if you haven't noticed, they come with a color strip. The yellows are for the filberts, the red are for the brights, and the greens are for the rounds. I think that's so smart because if you have your brushes all bunched up together, you already know which is which just from the color strip. After that, you just gotta, decide on what size you want. I decided to do this composition for the wolf because when I was looking at references, I kept seeing pictures of wolves howling at the moon, and it didn't really seem interesting, and it felt kind of boring and very basic. So I came across a picture of a wolf pack, and that looked interesting, so I cropped that picture and I took 1 or 2 wolves out of the pack, and I used that as a reference for the composition and kind of like the body stance. And then I went and looked for a picture of a wolf that had much lighter fur with a little bit more color in it, because the wolf in the pack were all really dark grays and black, and I wanted, just a little bit more color. So yeah, that's how I ended up with this wolf. Now right here for the eye, I'm not even going to overthink it. I'm going to grab the smallest brush in the set, which is the size 4 round, and I'm just going to grab the eye color, and I'm just going to lay down just a simple shape that suggests an eye. And once I do that, just a little bit of highlight to give it a sense of depth and roundness, and you're good to go. Capturing the feeling of snow around the wolf, I felt like it was going to be a bit tricky, but I decided to approach it by just kind of like laying down white and light grays all the way around and letting the imprint of the wolf's body in the snow kind of give you that sense of depth and how thick the snow really is. So yeah, what I did was go back and forth with the white and the light gray and the darker gray and then some white on top, and I just worked it in and out throughout the painting until it just felt right. And now the same thing that I did with the eye, I'm going to do it to the mouth. I'm just going to grab the smallest brush, I'm going to grab the color that I need, and I'm just going to lay it down, make the shape look like a tongue, kind of suggest these are teeth. Your mind kind of fills it in for you. As long as the colors are there and the shapes are there, your mind does everything else. All you have to do is just add a little bit of shadow, a little bit of highlights, and you're good to go. With that done, we go back into the painting, look for any little details that need to be added in. Little strands of hair, a little more highlight, a little more shadow, just some final touches. And now with a gray Posca paint marker, I'm going to do my signature and get ready for the review.
Alright, and there you guys have it. I think it came out great. I had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave me a comment, let me know what you think. If you haven't already, subscribe. Also, don't forget that in the description below, I'm gonna have a link to the brushes that I use. I ended up really liking them, so I definitely recommend them. Go ahead and check that out. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon.